What if everything we thought we knew about Jamie Fraser's fate was wrong? What if the battle that was supposed to end his story became the beginning of something even more extraordinary? Season 9 may be preparing to take Claire and Jamie into their most emotional journey yet, where death is no longer the greatest threat, time itself is. And when a mysterious figure emerges from the standing stones, the future of the Fraser family changes forever. But the biggest surprise is still waiting ahead. For years, Outlander fans have feared one heartbreaking moment, the day Jamie Fraser's story finally comes to an end. Every battle, every sacrifice, every near-death experience seemed to be leading toward that inevitable conclusion. But what if Season 9 completely changes the rules? What if Jamie's death becomes the very thing that unlocks the final mystery of time, love, and destiny? The latest theories surrounding Season 9 suggest a story bigger than anything we've seen before. A story that connects the past, present, and future in ways that could finally give Claire and Jamie the ending fans have been waiting for. But before we reach that ending, there are shocking twists, dangerous sacrifices, and emotional reunions that could change everything. The season begins in the aftermath of King's Mountain. Smoke fills the battlefield. The sounds of war have faded, and lying among the fallen is Jamie Fraser. The man who survived Culloden, imprisonment, torture, and countless impossible battles finally appears defeated. Claire refuses to accept what her eyes are telling her. She has crossed centuries for this man. She has sacrificed everything for this love. The idea that their journey could end here feels impossible. Yet Jamie lies motionless as darkness settles over the battlefield. As night falls, Claire remains by his side. Grief consumes her. Desperation takes over. She pours every ounce of her strength into saving him, refusing to surrender to fate. The silence becomes unbearable. The survivors begin whispering that the legendary Jamie Fraser is gone forever. But then everything changes. In the middle of the night, something stirs. A faint breath, a slight movement, a heartbeat that should not exist. Jamie opens his eyes. The impossible has happened. However, the man who returns is not exactly the same man who died. During those moments between life and death, Jamie experiences something he cannot fully explain. Strange visions haunt him. Faces from different eras appear before him. Memories blend with moments that have not happened yet. He sees Brianna. He sees Roger. He sees future generations of the Fraser family. And perhaps most disturbing of all, he sees himself, not as a living man, but as a ghost, a silent figure watching Claire from the shadows. These visions leave Jamie questioning everything. Did he truly die? Did he glimpse the future? Or did he accidentally cross a boundary that no one was ever meant to cross? Months later, life at Fraser's Ridge appears peaceful on the surface. The war is fading into history. Families are rebuilding. Fields are growing once again. But beneath that peace lies something dangerous. Jamie moves differently now. His body carries scars deeper than before. His mind remains trapped between worlds. Every night he dreams of standing stones glowing beneath moonlight. Every night he hears whispers calling his name. Claire notices the change immediately. She can heal wounds, she can treat illnesses, but she cannot cure whatever followed Jamie back from death. And that may be the beginning of a much larger mystery. As Jamie struggles to understand his visions, another mystery arrives at Fraser's Ridge. A stranger appears without warning. The visitor claims to know secrets about time travel that even Claire has never heard before. At first, nobody knows whether this person can be trusted. The stranger speaks of forces hidden behind the stones, ancient powers that connect every traveler across history. According to these warnings, Jamie's survival has created a dangerous imbalance. Because there is one terrifying problem. History expected Jamie Fraser to die, and history does not like being changed. Soon, strange events begin occurring around the ridge. Objects move without explanation. Whispers seem to emerge from empty air. People hear voices carried by the wind. Animals become restless. Even Claire begins experiencing unusual sensations she cannot explain. The closer they look, the more obvious the truth becomes. Something is trying to correct the timeline. Meanwhile, Claire discovers another shocking change. The effort required to save Jamie awakened something inside her. Her healing abilities feel stronger than ever before. She begins exploring possibilities she never considered. But every new discovery raises more questions. Why is her connection to Jamie becoming stronger? Why does she sense danger whenever the standing stones appear in his dreams? And why does it feel as though some unseen force is watching them? Then comes the moment nobody expected. During a violent storm, Jamie finds himself drawn toward the stones, as if under a spell. Claire follows him. Lightning flashes across the sky. Thunder shakes the earth. The stones begin glowing. And from the center of that impossible light, a figure emerges. Someone who should not be there. Someone connected to their past. Someone whose appearance suggests that time itself is beginning to unravel. The season suddenly becomes much bigger than survival. Now it is about protecting reality itself. The figure stepping from the stones sends shockwaves through the Fraser family. A younger version of Lord John Grey appears confused, exhausted, and completely out of place. His arrival confirms everyone's worst fears. The timeline has been damaged. People are no longer staying where they belong. Jamie feels responsible. If his survival caused this chaos, then every new consequence falls on his shoulders. The burden becomes almost unbearable. Each night he dreams of a bright light calling him back. Each morning he wakes wondering if he was meant to stay dead. Yet Claire refuses to accept that possibility. She reminds him of every obstacle they have already overcome, every impossible reunion, every miracle that brought them back together. Their love has survived too much to surrender now. But new dangers continue appearing. Rumors spread throughout Fraser's Ridge. Some settlers believe Jamie has been blessed by God, others fear he has returned cursed. The division creates tension within the community. At the same time, Brianna and Roger begin noticing strange disturbances in their own time. Through letters and discoveries, they realize something is affecting history itself. Then another complication emerges. Young Jimmy begins showing extraordinary signs of time travel abilities. His connection to the stones appears stronger than anyone expected. Stronger than Claire. Stronger than Brianna. Perhaps stronger than every traveler before him. Jamie becomes terrified. He knows firsthand how dangerous these powers can be. He fears his grandson may be pulled into conflicts stretching across centuries. One emotional evening, Jamie shares stories from his life with Jimmy. Stories of mistakes, sacrifices, and lessons learned through unimaginable hardship. It is one of the season's most powerful moments. Because beneath all the mysteries and dangers lies a simple truth. Everything Jamie does is for his family. Everything Claire fights for is to keep that family together. And history may soon force them to make any impossible choice. As the season races toward its conclusion, the mystery surrounding the stones finally reaches its breaking point. The mysterious guardian returns with a devastating warning. There is only one way to restore balance. A sacrifice must be made. Not a life. Something even more significant. The Fraser family must give up their connection to time travel forever. No more journeys through the stones. No more changing history. No more reaching across centuries. For Jamie and Claire, this decision feels heartbreaking. The stones brought them together. The stones shaped their entire story, yet they also caused every separation, every loss, and every tragedy. For the first time, Jamie begins imagining a future free from destiny's endless demands. A future where he and Claire simply live, together, peacefully. The final conflict erupts when enemies attempt one last attack, hoping to exploit the chaos surrounding the stones. What follows is a desperate struggle that pushes everyone to their limits. Jamie fights with everything he has left. Claire uses every ounce of her intelligence and courage. Lord John stands beside them. Jimmy discovers the true purpose of his gift, and together they finally stop the threat that has haunted them all season. But there is one final emotional moment waiting. Standing before the stones one last time, Jamie and Claire make their choice. Not to travel, not to change history, not to chase another adventure. Instead, they choose each other. The stones fall silent. The endless pull of time disappears. For the first time in their lives, they are free. Years later, their legacy continues through their children and grandchildren. Jamie records his final thoughts for future generations. Claire remains by his side, just as she always has been. Their story does not end with tragedy. It ends with peace. The kind of peace they spent a lifetime earning. And that may be the most beautiful ending Outlander could ever deliver. If these Season 9 theories become reality, Outlander may finally give fans the emotional ending they've dreamed about for years. Jamie's death would not be the end of his story, but the beginning of his final journey. A journey about family, legacy, sacrifice, and a love powerful enough to survive time itself. But there is still one mystery that remains unanswered. Did Jamie truly escape death? Or is history simply waiting for the perfect moment to claim what belongs to it? And if Season 9 really is the final chapter, what ending do you want for Jamie and Claire? Let me know in the comments below. Just when it seems the Fraser family has finally restored balance, a new discovery changes everything once again. Brianna and Roger uncover a collection of hidden letters that were never meant to be found until this exact moment. Buried for generations, the letters contain messages written by Jamie himself. But the shocking part is not the letters. The shocking part is when they were written. According to the dates, some of these messages were written after events that had not happened yet. Roger immediately realizes something impossible may have occurred. During Jamie's brush with death, he may have briefly existed outside the normal flow of time. The visions he experienced were not simply dreams, they were glimpses into multiple futures. This revelation changes how the family views everything that has happened throughout the season. Suddenly, Jamie's strange warnings make sense. His unexplained knowledge makes sense. Even his fear of the standing stones begins to feel justified. But then another detail emerges. One final letter remains unopened, a letter addressed directly to Claire. The family hesitates. Nobody knows what it contains. The atmosphere becomes emotional as Claire finally opens it with trembling hands. Inside are words that bring tears to her eyes. Jamie writes that if she is reading the letter, then they have already won. Not because they defeated an enemy or changed history, but because they chose each other over everything else. He reminds her that every road in his life led to her. Every battle, every loss, every miracle, every impossible journey through time. Nothing mattered more than the years they spent together. The letter becomes one of the most emotional moments of the entire season because it reminds viewers why Outlander became so beloved in the first place. At its heart, this was never just a story about time travel. It was always a story about love. And this changes everything. As the final episodes continue, Fraser's Ridge enters a rare period of peace. The chaos surrounding the stones begins fading. The mysterious disturbances disappear. For the first time in years, nobody is preparing for war. Instead, the focus shifts toward family. Jamie spends more time with his grandchildren. Claire works in her garden and records her medical knowledge. Brianna and Roger strengthen the bridge between past and future through letters rather than time travel. The emotional weight comes not from danger anymore, but from realization. Everyone understands these moments cannot last forever. That understanding makes every scene more meaningful. Every smile feels important. Every conversation feels precious. Every quiet moment carries emotional power. The final chapter of Season 9 brings viewers back to where so much of the story began. The standing stones. Not as a doorway, not as a threat, but as a symbol. Claire and Jamie stand together before them one last time. The wind moves softly through the hills. The stones remain silent. For decades they represented destiny, mystery, and separation. Now they represent freedom. Jamie looks at Claire and realizes something remarkable. For the first time since they met, there is no battle waiting ahead. No war, no prophecy, no countdown to another goodbye. Only peace. The life they fought so hard to protect finally belongs to them. The season's most powerful scene arrives when the entire Fraser family gathers together. Multiple generations stand side by side, living proof of everything Jamie and Claire sacrificed to build. The camera lingers on faces connected through love, courage, and history. This is their true legacy. Not battles, not titles, not victories. Family. As evening falls, Jamie and Claire share a quiet walk across Fraser's Ridge. They talk about the incredible journey that brought them here, from their first meeting in Scotland to every impossible challenge that followed. The memories come rushing back. Culloden, the separation, their reunion, the births of their children, the countless moments when fate tried to pull them apart. Yet somehow they survived it all. Together. Jamie admits that after seeing death so closely, he finally understands something he never understood before. A perfect ending does not mean getting more time. A perfect ending means appreciating the time you already have. Claire smiles because she has always known that truth. Hand in hand, they walk toward home as the sun disappears beyond the horizon. No dramatic tragedy, no heartbreaking twist, no devastating final sacrifice. Just two people who loved each other across centuries finally finding peace. And that may be the ending Outlander fans have been waiting for since the very beginning. The story that started with impossible time travel ends with something far more powerful. A love that endured, a family that survived, and a legacy that will continue long after the final page is turned. The screen fades to black, but the feeling remains. Because Jamie Fraser's greatest victory was never winning a battle, it was finding Claire, and Claire's greatest journey was never traveling through time. It was finding a place where her heart truly belonged. That is why this ending feels complete. That is why it feels earned. And that is why Outlander Season 9 could become one of the most emotional conclusions in television history. While the emotional ending appears simple on the surface, several hidden clues suggest there may be deeper meanings behind the final moments of Season 9. One of the biggest details involves Jamie's ghost. Ever since the earliest episodes of Outlander, fans have wondered about the mysterious ghost that watched Claire outside her window before she ever traveled through the stones. The mystery has followed the series for years. Why was Jamie's spirit there? How was it possible? And what purpose did it serve? Season 9 may finally provide the answer. After his near-death experience, Jamie repeatedly describes seeing himself watching Claire from a distance. These visions are too specific to ignore. They suggest that time is not moving in a straight line. Instead, the past, present, and future may exist together in ways no character fully understands. That means Jamie's ghost was never trying to change history. He was simply fulfilling a role he had always been destined to play. The moment becomes even more emotional when viewers realize that everything may have come full circle. The ghost that started the story could finally receive an explanation in the final season. But there is another clue many fans might overlook. Throughout the season, Jamie keeps talking about peace. Not victory, not survival, peace. This repeated theme could be extremely important because Jamie has spent most of his life fighting. First for Scotland, then for his family, then for the future itself. For a man like Jamie Fraser, peace is the one thing he never truly had. Season 9 appears determined to give him exactly that, and this changes everything. Another fascinating detail involves Claire's silver hair. On the surface, it symbolizes age and experience, but many theories suggest it also represents the price she paid to save Jamie. Every sacrifice leaves a mark, and Claire's transformation serves as a visible reminder that true love always requires sacrifice. Yet unlike previous sacrifices, this one was made willingly. She would do it again, every single time. That simple truth becomes the emotional foundation of the entire season. Meanwhile, the Standing Stones themselves undergo a subtle transformation. Early in the story, they feel dangerous and unpredictable. Later, they become mysterious. But in the final episodes, they become silent. That silence matters. It symbolizes closure. For years, the Stones controlled the direction of people's lives. They pulled families apart and brought them back together. They represented fate. By the finale, they no longer hold power over the Frasers. The family finally controls its own destiny, and that may be the greatest victory of all.